playing around with his settings a little bit on his end. You can hear him fumbling around there with things. And this is going to be a really big show, though. I'll tell you, a really big show. We've got another special guest that's going to be coming in via the UK. And it looks like your focus might be off a little bit on your camera. Can you put your hand in front of it just to kind of get it to kind of see if it'll start focusing on something? It's a little, the focus is off for some reason. Is your light low? It looks like your light level's low there.
It is.
Is there any light in your room at all? Oh, there, that's better. That's better.
Yeah. We had to knock down some of the light. We're getting too much reflection.
Okay.
I have actually umbrellas above me.
Okay. All right, I hear you. Okay, well then let's go ahead then and let's switch to the camera. It looks like you got a sophisticated camera there set up.
We're trying this time.
So let's see if we can switch to that camera and see. And while you're doing that, I'm going to cut to the diver to give them a time. It's 3 minutes after the hour. 3 minutes after the hour, so we're not terribly late. And I got to get into my my iPad here so that I can keep an eye on the wrench gang and make sure they're doing their thing. So while you're doing that, I'm doing this. We're triple tasking here. We're not just multitasking.
Okay, you seeing me over there?
I will in a moment.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm trying to find the stream. Here it is. It says 17 people are watching. They're all coming in. The wrench gang are coming in. Okay, they're coming in heavy now. And a bunch of comments. All right. And I can't keep up with the comments. There's a lot of comments in here. So, all right, we're cutting to the Stevester with his sophisticated setup. What are you going to show us?
Okay, a couple of shows back, some folks asked about GMT and world timers, so I thought I'd run through a few of the world timers and GMT watches and their functions that we have, and can answer any questions, and we can start with that.
Okay.
So I'm going to switch my camera.
Okay. Take your time.
Okay.
And I'm going to apologize for the moire on my sport coat. This has a fine pattern to it, and that's what happens. So there you go. Okay, that's looking sharp.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll try to minimize the reflections.
Wow, so, that's sharp. That looks good.
Yep, we're trying to upgrade the whole process here. We're gradually getting there.
The whole operation, yeah. What's that? That is a stunning looking piece. I usually don't like pieces with funny things on the side and stuff like that, but that looks kind of cool.
This is a Bremont Waterman. It's a limited edition of 300 pieces. It's a GMT diver rated at 600 meters.
Wow,
and
600 meters? Are you kidding me? It's not. It doesn't look overly thick.
Well, it's 43 by 16.8.
Oh, so it is kind of thick. Okay, I see now. It is kind of thick. Yeah.
But I think it wears well.
Yeah.
Nicely decorated movement. And this has the 2893-2 style movement in which the GMT hand is, I'm going to try to show you how this goes. So I have these set.
Bring the watch down just a little bit so that it's more in the center of the frame.
Yeah. Okay. There you are. So if you want to track a second time zone, you're essentially going to, let me get this set up. Okay, so 2 clicks out, you got your time, and in a little bit, date is counterclockwise, and you reset the 24-hour hand separately. So this is the
I see it. Yeah, I see the 24-hour hand going around. Yeah.
So this is, I would say, the less desirable setup. So if you're traveling, you've got to go in and move the 24-hour hand, and if you want to keep the watch running. But it's very easy to pull it all the way out, and then you start jiggling your time And
so you got to be careful if you're trying to do that. Yeah.
But this is the way probably the majority of GMTs are set up. Okay. So that's the way it goes. Now, they do have a couple of features here.
Can you, your hand is in the center of the shot as opposed to the watch. Can you move it down a little more?
Okay.
And to the right?
Yeah. Okay, we'll get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now for some reason we've lost the light, but oh well. Okay.
Can you see it now?
I can see it, but it's the lighting got low all of a sudden because your hand wasn't in the shot, I guess. You have it on auto exposure?
Yep.
You probably need it to be in manual mode, for this.
No.
But okay, I mean...
You can see the watch. Okay, the thing I want to point out is on the chapter ring, there's a 24-hour indicators, and on the bezel, it's 60-minute or 60 seconds on the markers. So you can read off the 24-hour hand on the chapter ring, and if you can imagine 11, 10, etc. here, you can actually trick this into tracking 3 time zones simultaneously. They do have a very nice sapphire bezel on this. It's a nice piece. We like it, and it's really.
Of course, you can use that bezel as a dive bezel. Of course,
you can
as well. So there you go. Yeah.
So it rotates
unidirectional, and it's a 600-meter watch. So there you go.
Very nice. So anyhow, that's sort of a basic setup for GMT. I'm going to move on to another very different piece.
Now, Steve, how tricky would it be for you to switch the camera into manual mode and get the because it keeps going now the exposure is perfect right now, for example, but like when you put your hand in there or something, it changes. But we can go with this watch. This watch.
Let's try to go with it.
Yeah.
This is a Towson Watch Company piece. And it's our local company here in Maryland. They make some very interesting watches. This one is called the Norther, North with ER at the end, because you can trick this into telling you which direction is north if you know how to orient the hands. And I'm not going to go through that. My main point here is this works just like the Bremont does, so that in this second position, you're going to get the date changing counterclockwise and the 24-hour hand when you turn it clockwise. Okay. Now, they put the 24-hour markers on an inner ring inside the 12-hour markers. Sure. And they've color coordinated the hands so that you read off the 24-hour with the blue. Yep. And the yellow indicates the regular 12-hour time thing.
There you go.
So there's an interesting, pretty limited production. This is number 8 of probably about 100 pieces or so. Okay. So, okay, and moving on, we'll just show an Omega Planet Ocean. And this, and you can see that a little better, has what I would call an improved GMT.
The focus is off a little bit on that one. Can you focus it?
Probably because it's such a thick watch. Let's see.
Are you in auto or manual focus?
This is manual right now.
That's perfect right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Good.
So
right there. Yep.
This is sort of a beast. Those of you who know the Seamaster Planet Ocean, 43.6 by 17.4 thick, and this has the markers for the 24-hour on the rotating bezel, and it has a nice day-night indicator so that you immediately know if your GMT hand is in the daytime or night. You probably know that anyway if you know military time. And this works a little differently.
Can you bring it down a little bit? You're getting out of the frame. Okay, there we go. There you go. Perfect.
Okay, so setting regular time, and if I can just put it in this second position. So when you want to set the watch overall, you first set the GMT hand. So if it's 2 o'clock, you would set that, and you set your minutes to where it needs to be. Let's just say it's at 12, and you go to the second position, and you can set the hour hand independently. So when you travel, you can set the GMT hand for your home location.
Sure.
And then easily move this as you travel to different time zones. It also has the nice benefit of being able to go backwards and forwards.
And that's how the GMT Master works as well, the Rolex.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then since this is bidirectional in that second position, you're not changing the date until you rotate the hour hand past midnight, as I just flipped the date right there.
Gotcha.
Okay. And the nice thing is you can go backwards, and it flips the date back.
Now, is that a 600-meter watch, too, because it's a Planet Ocean?
That is.
Wow.
Okay. Nice piece. Now, the Bremont was 6,000. This is 7,900. So it's a little bit price differential there.
So if you want a beast of a watch, there you go, folks.
Yeah.
You want a beast, you got the beast.
Yep. Very beautiful. So that's that one. And I'm just going to show this Grand Seiko, because we always need to show Grand Seiko. And hopefully that's in focus.
Yeah, that looks nice.
And this is the SBGM221. Beautiful piece that the GMT hand works just like the one on the Omega.
Get a hair closer to the camera, just a hair closer. Yeah. Okay, perfect, right there.
Yeah,
right there. Perfect. That's in focus now, yeah.
And it differentiates the GMT hand by it's a blued hand. And
gorgeous watch. Gorgeous.
Yeah, points right to the 24-hour markers inside the steel markers there.
Now that one you can jump the hour hand as well, right?
Yes, that's the whole. But this is wrapped. I didn't want to take it off, and it works just like the Omega does. It's sort of the preferred GMT setup.
Ramirez says my next watch, SBGM221.
That's right in my hand here.
There you go. Well, he's got it ready for you.
Yep. Give me a call.
Call Steve.
Yep.
That is a gorgeous piece. I tell you what.
It is, and unfortunately it's wrapped, but the movement's just as gorgeous.
Absolutely, and it's got the deployant clasp. That's the whole deal right there.
Yep. So moving on, I'm going to show you some other.
Now, was that a high beat? I didn't notice.
No, that's the regular movement. That's the 28.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
That's good. Less wear and tear. That's good.
So there are other creative realizations of world time, GMT time. This is a Meister-Singer single-hand watch. Okay, and all of their watches are effectively single-hand.
Yep.
So this is showing, and this is how you read it. It's 5:15, and you can see it's a quarter of the way between the 5 and the 6 here, and no minute hand, no second hand. Now, in this particular model, which is the Adhesio dual timer, it has 2 concentric rings, and one is a date ring, and that is the outer ring, and the other is a second time zone. And it works just like the first 2 watches I showed you, that you go to the second position, and if you rotate it clockwise, you're going to change the hours, and if you counterclockwise, you're going to change the date. So very, very inventive expression of a dual timepiece with a single hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And by the way, Warren is in the chat, and Warren is going to be joining us as well. When he gets a chance, he's going to call into the Skype number, and that's going to be a very interesting conversation. So, Warren, feel free to call in whenever it's convenient for you.
I've got about 3 or 4 minutes to go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go next to NOMOS, which I need to follow. Here it is, buried. This is the NOMOS, and I want to get it in the right position. Zurich World Timer. Mm-hmm. And this is a very interesting realization of a world timer. And I don't know if you can see here, there's a little date wheel.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I can see it.
Here. And if you're traveling, you would set this to your home time, 24-hour time. And if you've set this properly, and how you set it to correlate the home time with the city, the 36 cities representing the 36 major time zones, mm-hmm. is there's a little pusher button here, mm-hmm. and you use your little pusher and stylus and advance the hour so it's set to the right relationship. So you would set, if you're New York time, you would have it to the current time, and then you'd set it to New York City. And then as you travel and you go to the representative cities, you just press this button, mm-hmm. and it whatever is at the top, Moscow, for instance, mm-hmm. It would be 223 or 217 rather, or thereabouts. Very neat.
So you whatever major city is in the time zone you happen to be in, you just select that city and you know you're good to go.
Yeah.
Cool. Sort of like the way the Patek Philippe does.
Yeah.
Sort of like.
Yeah. The only thing is it doesn't reverse, and and no date. Okay. So very pretty in-house movement.
And that looks like a well-made watch too.
They're fabulous, really well made.
Well, there you go, folks. There are other watches out there for you guys to look at. Broaden your horizons. I've
got 2 more, and this is the Frederique Constant World Timer, and this has a date and second hour hands, mm-hmm. and works somewhat similarly. When the time advances, however, once you've set this up, the disc indicating time moves, not the cities. Okay. And you just read it off for the corresponding city. Okay. Once you've correlated it with your home time. So it's this counter rotating 24-hour wheel. And that's there are a number of other brands that have this same concept. Mm-hmm. They've done it in an in-house movement on an alligator strap at a pretty amazing price, $41.95. Okay. And this dial also comes with a blue, also comes with a new model with a pretty nice looking slate gray.
Okay. Well, there you go, folks. You want something that you're not going to see everybody else wearing on their wrist. There you go. Quick time check. We're coming up on 21 after the hour. 21 after the hour, according to my spring drive Grand Seiko diver that is within a second since the time change. It's the most accurate spring drive diver in the country at the present time.
So that's pretty much it. If we want to bring in Warren or whatever.
Yeah, Warren, why don't you give us a call? And
I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
And switch the camera back to you, if you will.
Okay.
Steve Sturt. And we'll wait for Warren to give a call in.
Yeah.
And he just made a comment on that other watch. Looks like a Girard Perregaux. Lovely watch.
Yeah, that is sort of I think the first watch that had that function.
Uh-huh. Okay, he's calling in. Let me answer this call and see what we can do. See if this will work.
And he just made.
Okay, we've got Warren. You know, I might have accidentally cut Steve off.
It's sort of, I think, the first watch that had that function.
You're going to have to turn the volume down on your computer, Warren, so we don't get feedback. Yeah, make sure it's turned down. Now I'm going to have to add Steve back in because I think I accidentally cut him off. So let me add him back in here. See if this works. And add. So we'll see what happens. I don't hear. It says it's calling Steve, so hopefully he'll answer. And hopefully this will work. He's not answering yet. Oh, did he just answer? Steve, are you in the house? Oh, it says calling Steve still. So, that didn't work well. But anyway, we've got Warren in the house, and hopefully, if Steve calls back, I should be able to add him to the call. I don't know why I couldn't this time. Let me try one more time to add him. Add. Let's try it one more time here. Yeah, I understand you like the watch, Warren.
Very much so, Craig.
Your he just joined. Your audio sounds a little bit high. Say something again, Warren.
Well, myself.
Okay. I don't know that there's anything we can do about that. Now, Steve, are you in the call? Technical difficulties, folks. It says Warren and Steve are in the call, but I can't see Steve for some reason. All right, well, let's do this, Warren. Let's take a look at your watch. That's the important thing here. Let's.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, wait. Steve is all right. Steve's in now. Steve's in the house. Okay, and we got Warren in the house, and we got Steve in the house. So let's see that watch, Warren.
Did you get my pictures, Craig?
I did. We're going to show the picture, but I want to see the actual watch.
Right, here it is.
Oh, boy, folks. Look at that puppy. That is a heavy-duty piece, I'll tell you what. That piece that's a lifetime piece there. And that's titanium, correct?
It's titanium, that's correct, Craig.
Now, how do you like the feel of that on your wrist?
Well, I've got a deep-sea camera, and it works nicer. The titanium, in fact, the actual fit of the titanium bracelet is much smoother.
Hold it up a little bit so we can see it in the shot. Yeah, okay. And how does it feel on your wrist? Does it feel comfortable?
It does. My wrist is 7 1/4, 7 1/2. I've got naturally big forearms, and I wear my watches quite loose, and I don't even think it wears big on me.
So you're going to wear it loose like that, like you have it now?
That's what I do, yes.
Why do you wear it that loose? I'm just curious.
It's just a pure comfort thing, Craig.
You just like it that way?
Because I've been wearing a heavier watch, the Deep Sea, I have to wear that slightly loose because it feels a little bit heavy when you wear it tighter.
Now, where do you have your micro adjustments right now in the class?
Well, I'm actually on my mobile phone, Craig.
Okay, but your micro adjustment on your clasp,
Oh, the micro, right?
Yeah,
It's right as far as it can go.
Loose.
I've had a link taken out.
So right now it's on the loosest as far as the micro adjustments. So you could tighten it up a little bit if you wanted to using the micro adjustments.
No, opposite. It's as tight as it can go, but I can move it tighter on a pin adjustment and then move it back out on the diver extension.
I hear you. Okay. Yeah, I think that you should take another link out of that bracelet.
Okay, I can play about with
Because
that.
you've got the micro adjustments where you can make it looser, right? Once you take a link out. Because right now
That's
you
right.
said the micro adjustments are as tight as they can go right now, right?
Yeah, well, the dive extension is as tight as it can go. But
What
I can
about
still
the
play
micro
around.
adjustment? What about the?
I can still play. I can make it tighter. I can move the pin across still to make it a little bit tighter if I wanted to.
So which pin is it in on the micro adjustments? Which pin is it in?
It is. It's right at the end, so it can actually go three holes tighter.
Oh, so you can go tighter if you want to.
Yeah, oh yeah, I can do
Okay,
that.
well then I would play around with that. I would bring it in tighter and see what it really feels like, because you're used to having a heavier watch, and that watch is not as heavy. You might be okay with tightening it up a little bit. I'm going to show your photo here. Just give me a second here. Let me pull this up. And I'm going to show the photo of it on wrist. And there it is on wrist, folks. That's his watch. And that is a gorgeous dial. I mean, that is, and you really have to see it. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on here, because you really have to see it in person to really see how gorgeous this watch is. But look at that watch. Look at how.
Are we seeing that? Is that up, Craig?
Well, you can't see it, but the viewers can see it. It is absolutely stunning. I mean, just the way it has the texture to that dial, and then where it says high beat 36,000 professional diver, that's in a special like inlay where that's like doesn't have the pattern. It's just the way they did it. They just did a fantastic execution on that dial. It's just absolutely stunning. You know, I'm surprised, it being titanium, I'm surprised the GS is not in gold. Because on mine, the GS and Grand Seiko are in gold, and that's what denotes the fact that it's titanium.
I believe on the black dial version,
it is.
Yeah, so they did that for the blue just to make it different. Mm-hmm. That is really a stunning watch. What can you add about this watch, Steve?
Well, one thing comment I like to make, Steve and Craig. I mean, even though the watch is 46.9 millimeters, in reality, it doesn't actually wear that much bigger than the new Deep Sea, which is 44.
Yep.
And the reason being is the top and bottom lug to lug length is actually 1 millimeter shorter.
Yeah, the lugs on the Grand Seiko are really well designed, and also the bracelet, the way the bracelet hangs around your wrist, it's really well designed, and it's super comfortable the way the bracelet is constructed. And you know, and a lot of people give Grand Seiko a hard time for their bracelets, but I've grown to love, I've grown to love mine. I mean, mine is just super comfortable on wrist, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. I've just totally gotten used to it. When I first got it, I asked Steve, I said, can I change this clasp? You know, I didn't really like the clasp that much and so on. Now I'm used to it, and I love the functionality of it. I love to be able to extend it when I want to. I like the ease of taking it on and off wrist. It just, everything, I've just gotten totally used to it, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Of course, you've had yours a very short period of time, but how do you feel about the overall comfort and the functionality of the bracelet?
Well, you have to own a watch like that. It's beautifully finished, and what I find is the actual finishing inside the bracelet, inside the links, each link has got a slight curve, and it makes it even more comfortable than the Rolexes that I have. So very, very pleasantly surprised with the quality and the fit and finish. And also the Grand Seiko has got those little fine details, the shape of the case, the beveling on the case. It just makes the watch very, very interesting overall. So I'm very, very happy with it. So much so, I've just ordered another watch off Steve. So I've got another Grand Seiko incoming. I think it's June, isn't it, Steve?
Yes, it is.
So which model is that going to be?
Yeah, can you bring that? If I give you the reference number, Craig, can you bring that one up?
Yeah, and Steve, you don't have it, right? You've ordered it?
No, coming in June.
Okay.
But we will have
so it's, the reference is SBGA.
All right, hold on here. Let me find it here. Okay, SBGA, go ahead.
407, the new blue snowflake.
See if I can find it, and then I will cut to it. My computer's taking its sweet time loading in it. Okay, there it is. Okay. All right, so yeah, I've got it up on the screen here from the Grand Seiko website. Now, this one they're showing has a strap on it. The one you're getting has a strap?
That's right. So unlike the other snowflakes, stainless steel case instead of titanium, more of a classic design, slightly smaller, longer lug.
What size is it?
40 and a little bit, 40.2, I think it is, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dark. It's got a very dark blue strap. So the only thing, my consideration is whether to buy a black, whether it look better on a black crocodile strap.
I think the dark blue with this watch is going to look stunning. Let me see if I can find any other photos of it, because this photo is not that great.
Go to images. There are a few live pictures of it if you look in Google Images.
Yeah, I'm going to try to find a better one here. You know, this is one of my pet peeves. Is some of these watches, it's hard to find decent photos. I mean, it's insane.
There's very few photographs of that watch about at the moment.
I have some from Basel World of that, and it looks quite white, so I think it's fairly mutable the way it shows up.
Yeah, let me see what I can find here. All right, here's one that's pretty close up from 2 days ago. Let me see if I can pull this up, and I'll show it if I can get it on the screen here, folks. Just bear with us. This is what live television's all about. And yeah, that picture's pretty good. And of course, they've got their big watermark on it, trying to skew it. So let me go back and see if I can find another one that's even better. I think this watch is going to be stunning. And Steve, you saw it in person. What was your...
Beautiful. Very... I think the stock photo on the website is pretty dull. And
it's terrible.
So it's much nicer and fairly subtle. I think that looks a little bit like a robin's egg.
Now, does it have a standard clasp, or does it have a deployant clasp?
Deployant, I believe.
Yeah.
It does have the deployant?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's another stunner incoming. Warren, what watch are you going to wear? I mean,
the snowflake is probably going to knock the Parmigiani out of the collection, which is actually got the Parmigiani here. The snowflake is probably going to replace.
Okay, I see it. Yeah, so that one might be coming on the market.
So that could well be coming on the market in June. There you
go, folks. There you go, folks. You want to get a beautiful watch from Warren? You got the scoop right now, live. You might be able to get that piece. All right, some good comments in here. Some of these folks really like it, and Warren definitely has the wrist presence for that massive GS. There you go. I mean, it looked good on wrist. Let us see it on wrist again. Oh man, I just think the watch is stunning. I really like the bracelet, and is that 22 mils or is it 23 mils on your watch? The bracelet.
Not sure.
The width.
Maybe Steve might know that.
Is that 22 mils?
I'm not sure either, to be honest.
Yeah, I know mine is 22, so I'm going to cut to mine real quick so folks can see mine.
Yeah.
It's 36 past the hour, 36 minutes past the hour. Mine is 22 mils, and that is really one of the things that makes the watch look so good. is because even though it's a bigger watch, it's got the bigger bracelet, 22 mils versus 20 on a Rolex, right? And that makes a difference. And that's what they do. They get those proportions right. And I like the fact that it's got that little bit of bling to the bracelet where it's got those center pieces that are polished. Hold it up again. I'm going to see that. See, and turn it around a little bit. Yeah, see, folks, see how those center pieces that are polished, see how those really just bring the elegance up a notch. And it just looks like a really heavy-duty tool watch, but it also looks classy. I mean, it brings it up a notch or two, I think, from your typical. It doesn't
wear too big either.
Say again?
Doesn't wear too big either. In fact, it's probably, well, in fact it is, it's a much better proportioned watch than a Rolex Deep Sea.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the Deep Sea really is kind of bulky, to tell you the truth. I don't think I would go for the Deep Sea. I would go for just a regular sub if I was going to go that direction. But
the Deep Sea might be in trouble, though. That's the thing, Craig.
So, do you think your Deep Sea might be on the market?
It could be in trouble. Yes, I think the Grand Seiko is going to get a lot more, if not all, of the wrist time. The Deep Sea might get relegated.
I can hear you. I 100% agree. I mean, and you wear that titanium watch. There's just something about the feel on the wrist of it that I think against your skin, all that titanium is more comfortable than a lot of steel, like a whole steel watch. And people say that if you have sensitive skin and all that titanium's the way to go. But I just think there's something about the thermal properties of it or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like to me like it feels more comfortable in different kinds of circumstances.
Yeah, but I never bought into that concept, Craig, but now that I actually own the watch, I understand. It really is exactly what you say it is. Big difference in the titanium. And
it's hard to put a finger on if it's just the weight or if it's more to it than that. I think there's more to it than just the weight.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit warmer on the wrist as well than steel.
It's interesting. So what is the lug-to-lug and thickness of Warren's new GS? What's the lug-to-lug?
I think the lug-to-lug is a fraction over 50, and the Deep Sea is exactly 1 millimeter bigger than that. The thickness of the watch is about 0.4 millimeters less than the Deep Sea, but because it's a bigger overall watch, it's better balanced. The Deep Sea looks too.
So what is the thickness on it?
17.2, something like that.
Okay. So they're both thick watches. There's no getting around it.
But being 46.9,
mm-hmm.
It looks much better proportioned.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually look like a big bulky watch, whereas a Deep Sea being 44 millimeters and fractionally thicker, it looks a bit more out of proportion.
And James says it looks a little bit like the Man on the Moon bracelet. But yeah, this bracelet's even better than the Omega bracelets, I think.
I know what you're saying though, the Omega with the polished center links.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, Steve, anything else you have for us, or anything you'd like to say to Warren before we let you drop out? Because I know you got a lot of things going on there.
Yeah, I do. Well, thank you, Warren. You're great to work with. We had a lot of fun with this, and
we certainly have, Steve. My pleasure.
Yeah, it's really nice to have this kind of a relationship, and looking forward to getting you that blue snowflake as soon as I can. And you need to come and visit us sometime.
I do.
I don't know what your travel plans are.
There you go. Absolutely, come and visit.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Steve.
Okay. Take care, everybody.
Yep. I'll let you hang up so that I don't cut anybody off.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Carlos says, Steve, do you have any news about the Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch stainless steel with 321 movement? Unfortunately, Steve, just dropped out, so we can't answer that. Maybe somebody from Little Treasury is in the chat. I don't see them, though, but if they are... Oh, yeah, somebody from Little Treasury is in there. Maybe they'll answer. So... And also, you can always email Steve at steve@littletreasury.com. All right, so what's your current collection right now? How does it stand, and what do you think might be liquidated?
Well, my current collection, as I said, Deep Sea and the Parmigiani. I've got here Green Submariner.
Let's see that one.
That one there.
Okay.
I love the Green Submariner.
Now,
So
what year is that one?
That's a 2012.
Okay, 2012.
And I've got the ceramic white gold Pepsi as well. That's in the safe at the moment.
Wow. Okay.
That's
white gold. White gold.
That's white. Yeah. White gold Pepsi bezel. My initial plan was to sell that watch and buy a date 40. But the problem is the prices are skyrocketing on the Pepsi at the moment, so it's finding the right time.
Yeah, well, I would get out before the bottom falls out of that bubble. I'm
keeping a very, very close eye on it.
Sometimes it's hard, though. Once it starts crashing, sometimes it's too late.
Sometimes it's hard to let go as well.
I hear you. So we got a question in the chat. Craig, what would you recommend? Omega Seamaster Diver 300M with blue or black dial? Which dial is more beautiful in your opinion? I like them both. I mean, really, that's almost a coin toss. I would probably go with the blue myself, just to have something a little bit different. But
I would go with it as well, personally.
But the black might be more versatile. Obviously, the black will go with anything. Dark blue almost goes with anything. That's almost a coin toss there. You would
need to see both of them.
Yeah, I would look at both of them and really, really measure 7 times and cut once and really make a decision on one you really like. But I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. That's for sure. And, of course, Steve would be happy to sell you an Omega.
My advice, though, is Craig, always buy it on the bracelet. A friend of mine made a big mistake buying it on the rubber strap. The bracelets are very, very expensive to buy off the market, but the difference in price...
New is $100 or something, or $200.
It's not a lot, so always buy it on the bracelet.
Absolutely. Very good advice. Always do that. Wow. Well, this has been a fantastic. I'm glad you could drop in, and I'm really glad that you're happy with that watch. Let's take another look at it. Can you hold it up?
Of course I can.
I'll tell you what. Can you also just take it off wrist real quick and show people the everything, so they can get a nice close look? Okay. Wow. And
you can see it goes round the beveled edges. And what makes the watch appear slightly not as thick as, say, the Deep Sea is on the case, it bevels below the bezel, and it also bevels upwards from the case back.
Yeah, and when it's on your wrist, it actually, the way the bracelet drapes around your wrist and all, it does make it really work well. Now, how does the bezel feel, the ratchet and the bezel, when you turn it?
Very, very impressed. It's a very different feel to a Rolex, but it's a very, very positive click. Very, very premium.
But you like the feel of it?
Yeah, it's very, very good. Very impressed with it.
I like the feel of it on mine as well. And now, does that have a display back? Did I see that has a display back on it?
It's a bit
it does not. It's steel. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
There you go.
Well, so it's the same as mine as far as the back. And show them how the bracelet, how that clasp works and everything on the back.
So there's a little adjustment pin, like a little switch. You push that up.
Well, you know, Warren, you can also pull the latch back, and that does the same thing.
That's right, it does. So it's very easy to make adjustments on the wrist.
And it's a one-way ratchet, so you can ratchet it in without doing anything, which is kind of nice because you can just click it in a little bit, and then it won't click back the other way.
Yeah, so it will just ratchet. There we go, and it's back. Yeah. So it's very, very easy to use.
Yeah,
I didn't know that, Craig, about pulling the clasp back. So I've learned something today. That's been a newbie owner.
Yeah, well, see, that was when I first got it. I was kind of like, I wasn't happy with the fact that sometimes I'd take it on and off, and it would just be the ratchet. It would go out a little bit accidentally.
It does. It does come out a little bit.
And I'd put the watch on, and I'd be kind of mad, right? But then I realized I can just push it right in with my finger. Just push it, and it's right back in. It's no big deal. So it's actually a nice feature that it's easy to let it out because you can always push it back in with no effort whatsoever. And I like the fact that you can do that while on wrist. You don't have to take the watch off your wrist. Whereas on the Rolex, you know, the Submariner at least, you have to take it off wrist to adjust. And that's dangerous if you're on a boat or somewhere where somebody might grab it and run, or any kind of situations you don't want to take the watch off your wrist. Well, I'm happy for you that you got this and that you're really happy with the piece.
Well, big thank you to yourself as well, Craig, because if it wasn't for yourself and your channel, I wouldn't have seen the watch at Little Treasury, and I wouldn't be here now. So very much appreciated.
Well, there you go. In motion, making things happen all around the world here. Carlos is in the house, and he's asking, on what day-date 40 are you thinking? What day-date 40 are you considering?
I'll try and be different, but it would be the same as one that Craig's looking at, yellow gold with the black motif dial.
I don't think you can beat. Yeah, I don't think you can beat that combo. That's the same one that.
There's not that many dial combinations on modern Rolexes, and the greens don't work for me. The lighter colors, so definitely the black motif. That's the one I'd go for.
Yeah, and Carlos says the ratchet back makes sense to use it on neoprene. Yeah. I mean, they're really designing this watch to actually be a tool watch and actually be used in all kinds of situations, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's absolutely super cool. Let's take another time check.
That's what Seiko and Grand Seiko have been very, very good at for many, many years, is building a good dive watch. So they know exactly what they're doing. Yep,
I hear you. All right, any questions for Warren before we let him go? And Andrew says, "Well, I think I'm going to pass out." Well, that's a lot of powerful watches he's been showing. And let's see, Warren is
lot of years of working hard to get them as well, correct?
and yeah, James says, "Nice collection." I think you're making wise decisions too. It looks like the watches you're getting are really attractive, nice watches. I see a lot of people buying these watches, these like really hideous watches, and I can't understand. And they're spending real money for them, some of these watches, and some of them I would not put on my wrist on a bet. I mean, so you've made some really good selections here with the pieces.
I've been collecting watches for over 25 years, and yeah, we've all bought watches that, in hindsight, we wish that we hadn't purchased. But yeah, it's been a long, really interesting, fun journey, and I've got to a position now of having a collection that I really, really love.
Now, somebody's asking, did Warren say he had a Planet Ocean? Did you have a Planet Ocean?
I had a I've not mentioned a Planet Ocean. I had a Planet Ocean 2500 series many, many years ago.
Okay.
The original version.
Okay. And James says, You know you're a high roller when you bypass the stainless steel Pepsi and go straight for the white gold. There you go. I'll tell you what. That's right. People on this channel are in motion. Absolutely. And Mousy.
I'll get that watch out. Yeah, I'll get that watch out the safe, and if I come back on, I'll show that one.
There you go. And Mousy is saying, did Clivers come on yet? Clivers doesn't come on this channel anymore, Mousy. He hangs out on his channel. So you got to go over there on his channel and hang out with them. That's where the trolls hang out, over there. So anybody else have any questions for Warren before we let him go? Because it's late over there in the UK.
Yeah, 5 hours ahead, so we're nearly 11 o'clock in the UK, British summertime.
That's right, that's right. And so, all right, well, next time we do a show, and you notice that I've got one scheduled, right? Do you get a notification when I schedule a show?
I do, yes.
You get a notification? If you can come in and show some of those other watches, you know, get some of them out of the safe and so on, let me know, because we would absolutely love to see those other watches. And your connection is nice and clear right now. Are you coming in with the phone?
I'm coming, yeah, with the phone. So we've got good internet connection.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, so it's working good, and the audio settled down good. It sounds fine. So David Williams says he's late. He was in a conference. Well, there you go, David. You can rewatch this one on the recorded version, and you'll see it was a spectacular show, thanks to Warren and Steve contributing, coming in the house. So I'm going to wrap it up. I don't think we can do any better than this. Oh, by the way, somebody asked me about cleaning a Rolex Date 8. And I responded to him. I said, well, you know, you probably don't want to ask me, because I used to use a toothbrush and toothpaste on mine. And people say, oh, no, you can't do that. And here's what I would do. I would take it off wrist, and I'd worn it for weeks and not cleaned it. And it had all, you know, gunked stuff underneath and inside the bracelet. And, you know, it gets after several weeks in the summertime. And I would just take an old toothbrush and some toothpaste and clean it a little bit on the inside. And then I'd take my fingers and just kind of run it all around the watch, and thoroughly rinse it off, and just wipe it off with a microfiber towel. And it looked gorgeous. It looked absolutely gorgeous. So I don't baby my watches, is I guess the point. I mean, now you can try to clean it with, you know, dish soap or something, and something a little less abrasive, and be a little...
I've got a special tip on how to clean watches.
Okay, go ahead. Give us the tip.
Yeah. Non-medicated baby wipes. Okay. And Q-tips.
Baby wipes and Q-tips. There you go.
But non-medicated ones. You don't want any chemicals left on the watch.
It just seems like to me, though, that the baby wipes might be a little bit more abrasive than like a microfiber cloth.
It seems to work well for me. Give it a try.
I don't think it matters that much, is my point. My Date 8, after 20 years of use, 19 years, but who's counting, it had the fine little patina, little scratches all over it. If you looked at it in a macro shot, right? It had the little scratches like kind of all over the watch, everywhere. But in normal use, if you looked at it from 10 inches away, you know, just looked at it, it was absolutely gorgeous. So that's what it gets. It gets like that patina on it, right? And eventually it's going to get that patina anyway with use, if you're actually using the watch. Now, if you're not actually using your watch, none of this applies. If you just have it in the original box and it's in the safe or whatever, then this is all a non-issue. I'm talking about watches that are actually used on a regular basis. And so... yeah, you just clean them. Don't sweat the details. Use some soap and water, clean them, wipe them off with a nice microfiber cloth. It doesn't have a bunch of chips of sand in it or something. You know, you got to have a clean cloth, for gosh sakes, and the thing is going to look gorgeous. So, Peter says, "Hi Warren, sorry I missed it. Have to see it back, I guess." There you go. You have to watch the recorded version. He's going to come back, though, and he's going to show his whole collection. So stay tuned for that coming up. Maybe,
look forward to it.
Maybe even later this week. I don't know if I'm going to do a show tomorrow or not. And I know Wednesday I've got a video shoot, so I don't think I'll be able to do one Wednesday, but maybe later in the week we'll figure something out, because they want to see, they're chomping at the bit. They want to see that, that white cold Pepsi. I don't blame them. If it's okay for a baby's bottom, it's okay for my watch. Great tip. I'll try that. Vegas in the house. Absolutely. Member of the Wrench Gang.
Exactly.
All right, folks. Well, thank you again, Warren. I can't say how much I appreciate you coming in and contributing to the channel and helping these folks out, because you're in motion, you're making things happen, and that's what this channel's all about, as people that are positive and making things happen, and you represent the channel well. Anything that you'd like to say before we let you go?
Just great pleasure having me on, Craig. My best wishes to the Chain Gang, everyone in the live chat, and to all your viewers. And I look forward to coming on again, Craig.
Well, there we go. All righty, folks. There you go. That's Warren in the house making things happen. Thanks again for calling in.
My pleasure. Take care. Cheers, Craig.
Bye-bye.
I'll try and log out.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you go. That's Warren. I mean, you talk about a guy that's making things happen, getting out there and mixing things up, and and he's got some high-flying watches, and yet he's wearing that Grand Seiko. So that must tell you something, folks. You heard what I've been saying about the Rolexes, and about how I've been wearing this this Spring Drive Diver as my beat-around watch, my everyday beater. And I got rid of the Rolexes, and, you know, there you go. It's not just me. This guy's got Rolexes up the yin-yang, and he's wearing a Grand Seiko Diver. So that is very interesting stuff. That's all I can say. I've got a link in the description of this show to my Grand Seiko page on my website, and to my download page on my website. So if you want any cool stuff, cool information, and so on. And I'm sorry about the moire on this coat. It's got a fine pattern to it. It's this is a spring summer weight lightweight cashmere to it, and very comfortable, but a little bit of moire going on. Sorry about that. I got to. Hopefully Sony will come out with a newer replacement of this camera that has less in the way of a moire issue. And some of it is the compression algorithm that that YouTube uses as well, but it is what it is. Thanks again for your time, Warren, says Thomas. Thanks, Warren. I'm part of the Chain Gang, according to Warren. Yeah, we got a Chain Gang and a Wrench Gang. There you go. We got them all going on. Stuff's happening around here. I'm going to wrap it up. Everybody make sure you click the subscribe button and click the little bell. Click the little bell. And I got some checks I got in the mail today. I got to log in the payments and so forth. So I got to get to that. I got to get a little something to eat. And the beat goes on. That's what happens here. Thanks again, everybody. We do appreciate it. One last check on the time. And there, look, straight 6 o'clock. It was just about straight up 6 o'clock. That's how that works. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to terminate this little show here. I'm going to hit this button right here. It says stop. And then I'm going to hit the little button that says complete event. And again, click that bell. Don't forget.